Consistency is not convenient, it's not glamorous, it's not easy. It's the quiet discipline that happens when no one is watching. The truth is, the difference between people who succeed and those who stay stuck isn't talent, intelligence, or luck, it's consistency. Because you don't rise to the level of your potential, you fall to the level of your habits. Motivation feels good in the moment, but it fades the moment life gets uncomfortable. That's why consistency is far greater than motivation. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are temporary. They rise and fall depending on your environment, your energy, or even the weather. But consistency is a decision, a solid choice that doesn't depend on how you feel. People often wait until they feel ready to take action, but that mindset is the reason most people never start. You will rarely feel ready. You just have to move forward and let the feeling catch up later. The real test is not about doing something once when it feels exciting. It's about doing it daily when it feels ordinary. Consistency is what turns effort into excellence. Every time you show up, even when you don't feel inspired, you're strengthening your mental muscles. You're training yourself to be dependable, not emotional. When you depend on motivation, you'll only move when life feels good. But when you rely on consistency, you move even when life feels heavy. Success doesn't reward those who start strong, it rewards those who stay steady. That's why the most successful people aren't always the smartest or most talented. They're the most consistent. They built habits that worked even when they didn't feel like working. You can't build a meaningful life on moments of excitement. You build it through seasons of endurance. A dream without discipline will always remain a wish. And discipline is just consistency practiced long enough until it becomes a lifestyle. When you wake up every day and choose progress over comfort, you're telling your future that it can trust you. The people who win are the ones who can stay consistent through boredom, delay, and doubt. The truth is, consistency doesn't always give instant results. Sometimes it feels like nothing is happening, but that's when everything is being formed. Just like seeds take time to grow underground before they break through the soil, your consistency is creating something powerful beneath the surface. Motivation says, do it when you feel like it. Consistency says, do it whether you feel like it or not. Motivation is the spark, but consistency is the fire that keeps burning. You can't depend on a spark to keep you warm. You need a steady flame. Every time you show up when your emotions tell you not to, you're feeding that fire. You're building momentum. You're proving that you're not ruled by feelings. You're guided by purpose. And when purpose takes control, your potential begins to expand. The difference between average and exceptional isn't found in what people do once. It's found in what they do repeatedly. Anyone can act motivated for a day, a week, or a month. But consistency is what separates the dreamers from the doers. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be persistent. The path to greatness is paved with small, daily actions that most people overlook because they seem too simple. But those simple things, waking up early, planning your day, reading, working, praying, practicing, they add up over time and become unstoppable power. Every champion you've ever admired didn't win because of one moment of motivation. They won because they kept showing up when no one was watching, when no one clapped, and when it felt pointless. Their consistency became their credibility. The world may not notice your small efforts today, but one day it will see the results that came from your commitment. So stop chasing motivation, start cultivating consistency. Force yourself to show up, not because you're inspired, but because you're determined. Your future depends on what you keep doing after the motivation fades. Because consistency, not emotion, is the bridge between desire and destiny. Discipline is the silent architect of destiny. Every decision you make, every promise you keep to yourself, every small action you repeat, all of it builds the foundation of the future you're walking toward. Success is not built in a single moment of inspiration. It's constructed brick by brick through daily discipline. Most people want the reward without respecting the routine. They want the crown without carrying the cross of consistency. But discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's the invisible force that shapes your habits, molds your mindset, and forges your future. When you commit to discipline, you're teaching yourself how to live above your emotions. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. Discipline is not punishment, it's protection. Protection from your weaker self, your distractions, your impulses. It keeps you aligned with your purpose when your emotions try to pull you away from it. Every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you strengthen your character. Every time you follow through on your plans, you build credibility with yourself. That credibility is the currency of confidence. You can't trust yourself to do big things if you constantly break promises in small ones. Discipline keeps you trustworthy to your own destiny. The reason many people never see the fullness of their potential is because they stop too soon. They start strong but quit when the excitement wears off. Discipline doesn't care about excitement. It's fueled by commitment. You don't have to like it to do it. You don't have to feel it to finish it. That's the beauty of discipline. It teaches you to act from principle, not preference. When you push through fatigue, frustration, or failure, you're building the spiritual muscles that success demands. And those who master discipline eventually live the life others only talk about. Think about it. Every great achievement is built on patterns of discipline. The athlete doesn't become a champion because of one game. It's because of years of unseen training. The musician doesn't master their craft through talent alone. It's hours of practice, repetition, and refinement. The entrepreneur doesn't build wealth from one lucky deal. It's years of vision, sacrifice, and persistence. Discipline creates the gap between wishing and winning. You can't control every outcome, but you can control your input, your effort, your habits, your focus. Those small controlled actions create the momentum that moves mountains over time. Discipline also demands sacrifice, and sacrifice is never comfortable. You will have to give up certain pleasures to gain your purpose. You will have to say no to distractions even when they seem harmless. Discipline requires you to trade what you want now for what you want most. It's a constant conversation between your comfort and your calling, and the voice you listen to determines the life you live. The truth is, discipline will cost you something, but the lack of it will cost you everything. There will be days when your mind will whisper, "Skip it today, you've done enough." That's when you remind yourself that discipline doesn't negotiate. It doesn't take breaks when the body is tired or the emotions are low. It's an internal law that says, "I do what I said I would do." That's the kind of integrity that builds champions. Because the world rewards people who can be counted on, not sometimes, but all the time. So every time you feel the urge to quit, remember that you're not just building habits, you're building history. You're writing a story of endurance, focus, and faithfulness. Discipline might not make today easier, but it will make tomorrow greater. You are shaping your destiny with every consistent act of obedience to your goals. You may not see it now, but your discipline is designing your destiny. One choice, one day, one decision. A repetition is the quiet secret behind every form of mastery. Nothing great is ever achieved once. It's achieved through doing the right thing over and over until it becomes part of who you are. You don't rise to greatness because you tried, you rise because you trained. Every time you repeat a skill, a thought, or a disciplined action, you're building layers of strength, precision, and confidence that no one can take away from you. Repetition is not glamorous, it's not exciting, it's not loud. It's the uncelebrated rhythm of progress that transforms amateurs into masters and dreamers into doers. In the beginning, repetition feels slow and frustrating. It feels like you're stuck in the same place, doing the same thing, seeing no visible growth. But that's because progress hides in repetition. Growth is quiet before it becomes visible. The same way a seed grows roots before it breaks through the soil, your consistent repetitions are creating unseen strength beneath the surface. Every time you repeat an action, your mind learns, your body adapts, and your spirit strengthens. You're not just practicing an action, you're reprogramming your identity, because what you do repeatedly becomes who you are permanently. You can't expect mastery to come from occasional effort. It comes from committed repetition. The world celebrates talent, but talent without repetition is wasted potential. It's not what you do once that changes your life, it's what you do daily. Most people quit because they mistake monotony for mediocrity. They get bored with the basics and crave something new. But the basics are where the brilliance is built. The fundamentals you repeat are the same ones that create the foundation for everything extraordinary. Champions don't avoid repetition, they embrace it. They understand that mastery lives in the moments of practice that no one sees. Repetition refines not just your skills, but also your focus. It teaches you patience. It develops your discipline. It creates a mental toughness that prepares you for challenges ahead. Each time you repeat a routine, you're teaching yourself endurance. You're proving that you can handle the discomfort of doing the same thing without needing immediate gratification. That's why repetition separates professionals from pretenders. Anyone can show up once, few can show up again and again until excellence becomes automatic. And here's the truth: repetition requires humility. It takes humility to keep practicing something you haven't mastered yet. It takes humility to do the same small thing every day when it feels like no one notices. But those who stay humble enough to keep repeating the process eventually rise higher than those who only chase moments of excitement. Repetition isn't about perfection, it's about progression. Every repetition moves you forward, even when it feels like you're standing still. There's also power in understanding that repetition doesn't only apply to skills, it applies to mindset. The thoughts you repeat become beliefs, and those beliefs shape your behavior. If you keep repeating fear, you'll live in limitation. But if you keep repeating faith, you'll start walking in confidence. That's why repetition isn't just mechanical, it's spiritual. It's a declaration of who you believe you are and who you are becoming. So keep practicing, keep repeating, keep refining. Don't despise the process because it looks slow. The repetition you're doing today is the preparation for the recognition that will come tomorrow. When you repeat excellence long enough, it becomes effortless. When you repeat faith long enough, it becomes natural. What once felt hard will soon feel habitual. And when that happens, you'll realize that repetition didn't just make you better at what you do. It made you stronger in who you are. Feelings are unpredictable. They shift like the wind. One day you're full of energy and drive, and the next day you feel empty and unmotivated. If you build your life based on those emotional waves, you'll never find stability. That's why feelings can't be trusted, but decisions can. Feelings tell you what's easy right now. Decisions remind you what's essential for your future. When you live by feelings, you chase comfort. When you live by decisions, you chase purpose. The greatest mistake people make is waiting to feel ready before they act. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a choice. You prepare by deciding, not by waiting for emotion to inspire you. A strong decision has more power than 1,000 good intentions. Every breakthrough begins with a choice that doesn't depend on circumstances. The truth is, your emotions will always try to negotiate with your destiny. They will whisper, take a break, when you need to move forward. They will say, you've done enough, when you're only halfway there. But when you learn to move based on decisions, not emotions, you take back control. You stop being a follower of your moods and become a leader of your mission. That's when your life starts to gain direction. It takes maturity to act on decisions rather than emotions. Emotional living is impulsive. It reacts to whatever feels good in the moment. Decision-driven living is intentional. It responds according to principles and purpose. The people who achieve lasting success aren't those who never feel fear or doubt. They simply refuse to let those feelings lead them. They let discipline speak louder than emotion. Every time you do what's right despite how you feel, you're strengthening your inner authority. You're telling your mind, I am in charge here. Emotions make promises they can't keep. They promise happiness if you take the easy route, but that happiness quickly fades into regret. Decisions, on the other hand, bring fulfillment. They may hurt in the short term, but they create strength, character, and peace in the long run. Feelings are reactive, decisions are proactive. When you make decisions rooted in faith, principles, and purpose, you become unshakable because your actions are no longer at the mercy of how your day goes. Whether you're tired, disappointed, or uninspired, your decision keeps you moving forward. There will always be days when your emotions tell you to quit. They'll tell you that no one sees your effort, that progress is too slow, that it's not worth it. That's when decisions must speak louder. Your decision to finish, to show up, to keep building even when no one is clapping, that's where greatness is forged. Every champion learns to master their emotions instead of being mastered by them. You can't control how you feel every day, but you can control what you do every day. And it's what you do consistently that defines your results, not what you feel occasionally. When you choose to lead your life by decisions, you start to walk in peace. You stop being a prisoner of the ups and downs. Your energy stops being wasted on emotional roller coasters, and you start investing it into actions that matter. It's not that emotions are bad, they're just unreliable leaders. They make great servants, but terrible masters. Your decisions grounded in purpose can guide your emotions into alignment. Eventually, your feelings begin to follow your focus. So when your feelings say, rest, but your purpose says, rise, listen to purpose. When your feelings say, wait, but your destiny says, move, take the step. You can't control emotion, but you can command decision. That's how stability is built, how progress becomes predictable, and how power becomes permanent. Your destiny depends not on what you feel in the moment, but on what you decide in faith, and then act on consistently regardless of how you feel. Progress and patience are two sides of the same coin. You can't truly have one without the other. Consistency without patience will always lead to frustration because progress rarely shows itself immediately. The world teaches us to chase instant gratification, to expect fast results, quick wins, and overnight success. But real growth doesn't happen in a hurry. It happens in silence, in seasons where nothing seems to be changing. Patience allows you to keep going when results are still invisible. It gives you the strength to trust the process even when you can't yet see the promise. Every meaningful accomplishment requires time, effort, and endurance. The farmer doesn't plant a seed and dig it up the next day to check if it's growing. He trusts the process, knowing that the soil is doing its invisible work. That's exactly how patience works. You may not see the progress on the surface, but underneath things are shifting, roots are forming, and strength is being built. The problem is, most people quit in the root season. They give up before they see results because they mistake silence for failure. But silence isn't failure, it's formation. It's the stage where your character, consistency, and capacity are being built. Patience is not passive, it's powerful. It doesn't mean doing nothing, it means doing the right thing long enough until it produces the right result. You don't wait with your hands idle, you wait with your heart faithful. You keep showing up, working, learning, refining, even when there's no applause or visible outcome. Because the truth is, every small act of faithfulness compounds over time. The results might not come today, but they are collecting interest on your effort. One day, the harvest will come so quickly that it will surprise those who doubted you, but not you because you stayed when others left. Progress requires patience because growth takes time to mature. You can't rush what was meant to be developed. If success came instantly, it would collapse just as quickly. The waiting season is the strengthening season. It's where you learn how to endure, how to trust, and how to hold your vision steady while your circumstances still look small. Patience gives you perspective. It helps you understand that every delay isn't a denial. Sometimes it's divine timing preparing you for something greater than you expected. Impatience often comes from comparison. You look at others who seem ahead and you start doubting your own process. But comparison is the enemy of patience. You don't know how long they've been planning before you notice their growth. You don't know what battles they fought privately. Your journey is yours, unique, divine, and personal. Patience helps you stay focused on your lane and trust your timeline, because rushing what's meant to grow will only damage it. A tree forced to grow too quickly will never develop strong roots. The same applies to your goals, your character, and your calling. When you learn patience, you stop being controlled by time and start being guided by trust. You understand that progress is happening even when it's not visible. You find peace in persistence. You realize that success is not about speed, it's about stamina. Those who win are not always the fastest. They're the ones who can endure the longest. Patience turns your consistency into strength and your struggle into strategy. So when it feels like nothing is moving, remember that something always is, even if it's just you becoming stronger. Don't give up when the results are slow. That's when your roots are growing deeper. Keep working, keep believing, and keep waiting with purpose, because patience doesn't delay your progress, it defines it. The longer you can wait while still working, the stronger your foundation becomes. And when the time is right, your patience will turn into progress so visible that everyone will see what your quiet consistency was building all along. Consistency is not just about results, it's about who you become in the process. It defines your character more than your achievements ever will. Anyone can start something when it's new and exciting, but the true test of a person's character is what they do when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, and when no one is reminding them to keep going. Consistency reveals the truth about your values, your integrity, and your discipline. It shows whether you're committed to growth or just chasing recognition. Every act of consistency, no matter how small, is a reflection of your identity. It's proof that you can be trusted with responsibility, with progress. Character isn't built in moments of victory, it's forged in the routine of persistence. It's easy to be strong when the path is smooth, but real strength shows up when the road is long and the reward feels far away. Each time you keep going despite obstacles, you're shaping your inner self into someone reliable, resilient, and ready for more. That's why consistency is so powerful. It transforms effort into identity. What starts as discipline becomes instinct. What begins as a habit becomes your nature. You no longer do the right thing because you have to. You do it because it's who you are. People often underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They chase big moments to prove themselves, but greatness isn't built in moments, it's built in methods. The person who shows up every day, even in silence, will always outlast the one who moves only when inspired. Consistency teaches you that success isn't about being the loudest, it's about being the most reliable. The world trusts consistent people because consistency breeds credibility. When you show up again and again, people know they can count on you. Opportunities open up not just because of what you know, but because of who you've proven yourself to be. Consistency also teaches you accountability. It holds you to a higher standard, reminding you that if you start something, you must see it through. This isn't just about external expectations, it's about personal integrity. When you commit to being consistent, you're making a promise to yourself. And every time you keep that promise, you strengthen your relationship with yourself. You build self-respect. You begin to trust your own word, and that self-trust becomes the foundation of confidence. Because how can you believe in your dreams if you don't believe in your discipline? There's something sacred about being consistent in private. When no one is watching, yet you still give your best, that's when character becomes real. It's easy to perform when there's applause, but character is measured in the quiet places where your only audience is your conscience. That's where leaders are made. That's where vision turns into value. When you can be consistent without validation, you've reached a level of maturity that few ever experience. Consistency also humbles you. It reminds you that progress is earned, not owed. You learn patience, endurance, and gratitude along the way. You stop demanding quick results and start appreciating steady growth. You realize that what you build with consistency lasts longer than what you build with speed. Consistency doesn't promise instant success, but it guarantees lasting impact. Because what's done with integrity doesn't fade, it multiplies. Every time you stay consistent, you send a message to your future. I'm ready for more. You show that you're not moved by trends, noise, or temporary emotions. You are anchored by purpose. That kind of consistency becomes your signature. It's what separates those who wish for success from those who are worthy of it. So keep showing up. Keep doing what's right even when no one sees. Because one day the world will see the results of your hidden faithfulness. Your consistency will have defined your character, and your character will have defined your destiny. Don't stop when it's hard. Stop when it's done. Keep sowing, keep showing up, keep believing. Because if you stay consistent long enough, what feels like struggle today will soon look like strength tomorrow.